Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Michelle Languages podcast. Today's episode is about how to start learning a new language. Well, as polyglots, as language learners, we are always super intrigued by new languages thanks to the enormous amount of things that we can reach nowadays through globalization, YouTube, and all the net in general. We have the amazing opportunity to look for new music, discover new genres in different languages, discover new books from different authors from all over the world. Then, Netflix. On Netflix, you can find amazing TV shows from all over the world, like Korea, Japan, China, Turkey, Brazil, Latin, Spain in general, Africa. All over the world is on Netflix, and this is amazing. So when we consume new entertainment products, we tend to get fascinated by the native language that is spoken or that we listen to into this kind of content. So we get amazed, we get intrigued, we get fascinated by this new language because the human being is fascinated by the things that they don't know. Maybe will it be love? I don't know. So if you're planning to learn a new language, in today's episode, I would like to give you some tips and tricks to effectively start your new journey. So first of all, we need to choose the language. Or at least, if you're someone that is not really interested in particular, you must choose a new language. Or if you're like me or many other people, the choice comes natural because you got fascinated by a language specifically. Or the process may sound natural because you get fascinated by a language, a specific language. So the choice of a new language revolves around your interest. And what I would like to suggest to you when you start a new language or you get fascinated, you get interested in, is playing around with the language. Listen to music, watch a TV show, maybe play around on Duolingo if that language is available over there, just to get a first impression and to get to know the language. As I said, consider the languages as human beings, as alive entities. So get to know them, like starting this new friendship with getting to know them, the sounds, and all that kind of funny stuff. So yeah, I think that some prep to get to know each other is crucial because it's the time that you actually notice if you're seriously committed or if it's just something like to fill those 5 minutes in your life with some Duolingo, like for general knowledge without any serious commitment. But now there are some tips and tricks for serious learners. So once we got to know the language, we have to start. Well, I think that it really depends on your learning style. So before committing seriously, so after getting to know the language, but before committing seriously, you really need to try different resources because many people really do not know their learning style. So again, play around, look for websites, textbooks, maybe watch something on Netflix, try to speak with natives in English or get to know a little bit about the culture related to that language, or try to speak to other learners. I think this is really effective because other learners are already in the midst of the process of learning that language, so they can give you specific tips for the language that you're interested in. So maybe try to ask some study grammars how they're finding the journey. Of course, I will tell you it's difficult because it's difficult to learn language, but ask for specific stuff. Maybe if you are interested in learning Japanese, you can ask, well, I'm really interested in Japanese because I love the culture, but I'm really scared by kanji. How do you deal with that? How do you study them? But yeah, I think it's really, really great. And I think that the StudyGround community, or at least the LangGround community, is here to help you. We are giving you the tips and the tricks already in our posts or in our stories. So please be sure to check the content that we create for you before asking in a private message, because it's already there. You can save it, you can watch it whenever you want, you can read the post every time if you're gonna save it. Otherwise, if we send it to you, you will probably get lost and forget about it. So be sure to check our contents. I speak for all the community because more or less we go through the same thing. So please be sure to check out our content first, save it, because it will help you. We're doing this to help you guys, you who are listening. I hope it is clear what I want to say. So after playing around with different resources and finding the things that really attract you and think they're very valuable for you, you should plan your process. As I always say, and if you already listening to my podcast, you already know that planning is crucial. And I still sometimes fail at planning, especially with Japanese, because I'm an intermediate learner, so things get difficult when you get to a certain level. I think I already hit the intermediate plateau because I'm struggling a lot, and my mind is much more clear for Korean, which is a language I'm beginner in. I don't know, it's weird, but I think that we're gonna talk about the intermediate plateau sooner or later. So stay tuned, guys. Anyway, plan your process, especially when you're a beginner. What I would like to tell you is to plan short but frequent study sessions. Like, for example, 10 minutes per day. What you can do in 10 minutes is amazing. You can learn new vocabs, you can learn new sentences, you can learn 1 or 2 grammar patterns. So be sure to stay constant in your language learning process. Plan, like for example, today I'm gonna revise vocab. The other day I'm gonna learn something new related to grammar. The other day I'm gonna read a short passage from a story. So be sure to immerse yourself and have a constant relationship with the language that you're learning, and plan when you have time, especially if you're a student or you're a full-time worker. You have to plan when you have time. Be sure to make time if you're deeply interested in, but if life hits you, because life sometimes hits hard on people, do not worry. Languages are over there to comfort you, to give you your special moment with yourself. It's your hobby. They don't have to be your work. So have this mindset that languages are fun. Studying is fun. Do not approach the mindset like, oh my God, if I don't do that every single day, I will not learn anything. No. This is not how we deal with languages. Even students that have been learning languages for more than 10 years, or people who have been learning languages for 20 plus years, do not use this mindset, because it will kill you. It will kill your motivation. Of course, that's not, I always speak with metaphor, so okay, languages are not harmful. I can tell you that. And so, yeah, plan when you have time. Plan short but frequent session when you have time. Maybe you can plan on a daily thing. So in the morning when you wake up, you plan your day. Or maybe you can plan a weekly thing or monthly. It depends on how you feel comfortable. A very specific suggestion that I would like to give you is to use few resources. So for example, you found the perfect textbook for you, use that. Just use that textbook, and maybe you can integrate with a grammar resource in order to fully understand the rules, but use few resources. If you have a learning style, just use few resources that will appeal to your learning style and that will help you learn effectively, because otherwise you will get burned out, you will get overwhelmed, and you will feel stressed. this happened to me with Korean at first, because I tried to learn the Korean language or almost for 2.5 years, but I felt so overwhelmed by the crazy amount of resources that I got burnt out several times. Once I decided to use the Kankokugo Dekiru and the Korean Grammar Reduced for Beginners, just to get around with the beginner level of the language. Last but not least, revision is key. Revision is essential, especially if you're a beginner, because you get your memory and your brain trained with all the things that you already did. So when you revise, it's like accessing to the little boxes inside your brain. You get the dust off of them and you will see clearly what is over there. So you see the vocab that you already studied that is connected maybe to something new. For example, you studied the word for cat, and today you're learning the word for, I don't know, kitten. So everything is connected. So revision is crucial. Revision is key. And you can use both passive and active strategies, which are both amazing. For example, you can revise through watching an episode of your favorite anime if you're studying Japanese. Of course, you will understand almost anything, but maybe key stuff like you will recognize in a discourse the topic marker or the word for bigger sister. So that kind of stuff, you can use it through, you can do that through music, or maybe you can use active strategies like, for example, gap filling exercises that will work perfect both for grammar and vocabulary. Or maybe you can create a database that you can revise. I really suggest Excel or Notion, but I'm finding myself really good with Notion. And you can create your sentences. You can do sentence mining, which is a practice that I notice is getting popular, but I still haven't tried it, but I will try it and I will tell you if it works for me as well. Maybe you can use translation. You can look for simple sentences like, I don't know, today I went to the store, and you go over there and you revise all the things and you translate these little sentences in your target language. So guys, these are my tips to start learning a new language. I really hope you appreciate them. If you're interested in getting to know how I'm studying languages, please be sure to follow me on Instagram at Michelle Languages. And guys, see you in the next episode. Bye bye.